Hi there. I've taken the code example from a question on a forum and just going to make some changes to it here to answer it. So first thing I'm going to do is just replace the curly brackets with do and end, which is what I use more often, and then remove the semicolon at the end of one of the lines because it's not necessary. So we see when we run the program now, we've got our array. We're trying to convert all of the values which are currently strings to integers, and that gives us an output of 4 and then prints our array with strings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new empty array called returned array 1. The reason for doing that is that each doesn't return what we were expecting in this case. So what each does is it's going to loop through all of the elements of our array and do whatever we tell it. So instead of expecting our converted values automatically to get put in there, what we're going to do is use the new empty array that we've created, and we're going to add the values to that new array as we convert them. So if I add in a new line inside my block to add to the returned array 1 each of the values that we create. So here we're assigning each value that's being converted to an integer to result 1, so I'm adding result 1 to my array. And when I run that now, we can see that our array that's getting printed out now contains integers rather than strings. So here where we're assigning value 2i to our local variable result, we don't really need that. We don't have to assign it to a temporary variable in there. We can just add it straight to our new array. So that allows us to remove that temporary variable altogether. And now when we run our program, we should still expect integers to get printed out in returned array 1, which is the new array that we're creating to store the values that we create. So let's add in one more little step just to confirm the type of the first element in the array. So we're converting our values from our array, which are initially strings, into an integer. Let's do a quick little test to make sure that they are actually integers, whole numbers, fixed numbers as they're called in Ruby. Let's test that by assigning an element, or getting the first element from the array and calling .class on it, like we've seen before, to test what type it is. So we get the first element of our array by giving the name of the array and then square brackets 0. And let's assign whatever the value of .class is. Okay, so when we run that, we get an error because result 1 no longer exists. So if I remove the print statement for result 1, because that's the temporary variable we removed, now when we run our program, it prints out the elements of our array and Fixnum, which is the type of our first element. So that way we're confirming and making sure that the elements in our array are fixed numbers or integers.